Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. For this week's video, I am going to be doing what I'm calling a French farmhouse in The Sims 4. For this week's video, I am using the packs Cottage Living, Get Together, and Seasons. So I don't normally start my videos with the yard, but I wanted to try it different today because there's like different sections of this yard where you can see I'm working on the garden space with a little beehive area and flower arranging table, and then on the left side of the yard there is a animal area for obviously the animals, but I do also have a little play area for the kid back there. And then the third section of this yard that I forgot to record or to show is like a outdoor dining hangout space for the family. But this video took me about 2 hours, a little bit less than 2 hours to record, and so I was kind of done. And it's like kind of understandable that I forgot to film the outdoor dining space. It's just right behind this garden area. So we are just going to be working on this little like front entryway. I called it like a courtyard in my mind of like or a front patio area. So we are just going to be working on the yard first and going to be finishing up like this front side area, and now we're working on the left side, which is the animal area. This lot or this is built in the world of Humphrey on Beckley, and it came with the cottage living pack. If you want to know all the little details of like the value of this home or how many packs I used for this home, you can check out the description. And while you're down there, please make sure to hit that like and subscribe button. We have reached our goal of 125 subscribers. Thank you. Thank you so much to those who have hit the subscribe button. It really does mean so much to me. I've been doing this YouTube grind, I think ever since COVID happened, and yes, I was one of those people. It's like I got nothing else to do since COVID, and I'm gonna start a YouTube channel. So it does mean a lot to me to reach this milestone, and I just can't say thank you enough. So back to the video, I do add some like animal extra animal areas with like the bunny spawning stump and then the bird spawning tree thing. And I realize I haven't mentioned why exactly I decided to do a French farmhouse for this video. Me and my mom have recently been obsessed with this YouTube channel called the Beau Chateau. It's a couple that are renovating this chateau that she inherited from her granddad, and it is one of the most beautiful buildings I have ever seen, and they're a really funny couple. It's just like the two of them plus some handy men and their animals, which I think me and my mom are going to start a fan club for their cute little animals because whenever we see them, we go in our cute little baby voices and like, oh, they're so cute. So that is the inspiration for this build. They do also have a HGTV show if you want prefer to watch like that type of like home design content. I assume you maybe like to watch both since you're probably also watching my YouTube video right now. So we are now in the kitchen of this French farmhouse. So I wanted this building to feel like it was renovated somewhat recently. This could be a good like generational home if you're playing like a legacy challenge. I wanted this home to feel a little kooky in a way where it's like you don't really see like architecture like this anymore. For example, I decided to use some exterior wallpaper in the interior because I wanted the beams to help illustrate this like old world feel. And recent, obviously, it has been updated because there's like modern electricity, there's like a TV family room, which we'll get to in a moment. This home is designed for a family of four, one set of parents, a teen, and a child. So we are just going to be adding some decorations onto the cabinet, and it may seem like it's a lot, and maybe I did overclutter. I just wanted this area to feel very lived in. Their priority for this home, I was imagining, would it be like taking care of the animals, taking care of the garden, like everything like on the counter just needs to stay on the counter. So we are now in the living room, which I decided to like sink down, and that's kind of like where like the old kookiness of like older homes come from. It's just like like you would prefer it to be on like one level, but since it is possibly like a historic property, you can't really like mess with that intention, or it's just like too much money to like make it all on one level. So we are just going to be adding some side tables, and I did want to make sure the furniture matched. So I used these side tables because they were the matching set that went with the TV table, or the table under the TV. So we are just going to be adding a blanket basket, which is one of the cutest and coziest items in the cottage living expansion pack. So we are just going to be adding a few more things into the kitchen. I was like scrolling through the items. I'm like, oh, I forgot about the item. I should add it before I forget again. And so that's kind of why I jump around in my videos. And I feel like I do that a lot during this video. And I try to cut most of it out, but I feel like some of the stuff, it's like, oh, okay, that makes sense to keep in the video still. So I do come back in this room, speaking of, to add a little cross stitch box into this area. I wanted to fill this home with a lot of scale building items. I do put a chest table in this space and a bonsai tree in the backyard by the garden station, and you want to see me do that right now. The bonsai tree does help with gardening, and the chess table helps with the logic skill. And I was imagining that this family would be like a multi-generational business of like selling their eggs or selling their cow's milk. And so we do add a computer into this living space. I just don't do it until the end of the video because it was kind of like an afterthought. I was just kind of like zoned in on this like cottage core aspect of the build. So we do add that. It does go by the door to the garden. So we are just going to be making a seating area by the fireplace. I really want to use this fireplace because it helped the build feel cohesive with the stone being the same from the interior and the exterior. So I wanted to have a listening area so it felt like a usable space, not just kind of like an afterthought with a bunch of space between like the couch and the fireplace. So make a listening area, and now we are just going to be adding a rug by the door. Feel like adding a rug in this space just made sense because there's a lot of like farming and like dirty equipment. So I feel like having like a nice little like say a shoe dropping station or area just made sense. So now we are in the first floor bathroom, and I just made it a little powder room area. I do make this space bigger than, like, say, my normal powder room, which is like a 2 by 2 area, but I wanted this to feel bigger, so there was more space to decorate, which was fun. So I do have like that little like cabinet, which I imagine would have like extra toilet paper or other bathroom essentials. And so we are just going to now be going into the second level of the home and starting off in this like landing slash loft space. So I wanted to have this area first be a sitting room, but I feel like it just wasn't a good use of the space. And so I decided to make it into a play area instead. And the kids' room is a little awkward, but I wanted it to be awkward because it just like helps with that like old design feel of like one era's purpose for a room isn't really necessarily another era's purpose for a room. I mean, how many homes in like the Victorian area, let's say, had like an office? It wasn't an office, it was like, say, a sitting area or a parlor. So this bedroom wasn't possibly a bedroom in the last decade. It could have been like another area. I don't fill in the blank, but I wanted to make this into a bedroom. One, felt it would be really fun to have this be a kid's space because it feels like a turret and a castle, even though it's very, very cottagecore. And I wanted this kid to be in Scouts because I haven't had a kid be in Scouts or haven't designed a room around the Scouts board or the Scouts feature. And I was mentioning that this kid would be very outdoorsy. I didn't really decide decide if this is a space designed for a boy or a girl, kind of left that up for interpretation. So if you aren't interested in getting seasons because you just want more than snow and leaves, you can also put your sim kids and I guess teens into an after school program called Scouts, which I honestly would have done it the opposite way. I would be like, okay, yay, I can have my Sims have Christmas and have different like seasons and holidays. So, and the Scouts was just a bonus to the game. So, we are just going to be adding a rug into this bedroom, and this area is pretty much finished. So, we are going to be adding another like art piece into the loft area, and now we are in the bathroom that the kid and teen will be sharing. This is a slightly larger bathroom than what I normally do. I normally do a 3 by 2 room. This is a 3 by 3 room. And so I wanted to make sure that this space was very functional, and I wanted to have like consistency with the cabinets, so that's why I'm using the same cabinets in the kitchen, just in a different swatch, so it feels just slightly different, but still has that same like cottage core feel. So we are just going to be finishing up the space with some rugs, and now we're going into the primary suite. So this area has a very strong color scheme of green. I just kind of like put the bed down and then I just kind of like worked around furniture based off of this green tone. And I do add another artwork from Seasons that has the green tones. It's probably one of my favorite pieces from the Seasons pack. It's just like a nice little art piece, and most of like the art from this pack Seasons is like very like wall decal. It's like you can like peel it off or like put it on. So we are just going to be adding that artwork and going into the primary bathroom, which is just a very simple space. It is also a 3 by 3 bathroom. So I wanted to have two sinks for a moment, but then I realized it kind of is unnecessary to have two sinks. I mean, it helps in like a bigger bathroom perhaps, but I feel like this is a smaller bathroom, so I wanted to have just one sink. So we are just going to be adding some decorations, going to be switching those mirrors around because I feel like this mirror from Seasons fit better in the entryway. And then I realized like this space is pretty empty, so I do add a couch underneath one of the windows, and then also have a coat rack from Seasons that fits pretty well into this space. And I feel like it was just a better use of space. I mean, I always appreciate having like a chair or a bench to take on and off my shoes, so that's why I always add like a bench or a chair in my entryways. So we are just going to be finishing up the primary bedroom, and now we're going to be heading into the teens room. So this teens room does have a private balcony off of it to overlook the animals, the chickens, the cows, and I wanted to have a more simple bed, and so I go with the stripes on the bed so it doesn't like clash with the red wallpaper that I'd chosen for this room. Just wanted to go for something kind of cute. I was kind of imagining a girl would be in this space more than a boy, so we are going to be adding a guitar, and I do also add a desk into this space, so there is a private homework space for this sim, although I do put a computer on that desk, so there's a lot of research that can be done. And I was imagining that the Sims homework schedule would mostly be online anyway, and so research or like turning in school assignments, like that would happen online. And in a way, that this could be a cool way to like eventually add like a homeschool feature into the game for your Sims. They can be the parents can like create a schedule, and then your Sims can like do half their school online, be taught by their mom, skills can be going up, and I think it would be cool to eventually have like a pack like high school years where like you take your kids to school. So we are getting close to the end of the video. I do add another computer into this main level, and I'm pretty sure I mentioned this before already. This is like my third time doing this voiceover, so it's kind of hard to know what I have and haven't said already. But this is for the parents to like put invoices in, do shipping for their milk and their eggs. So if you enjoyed watching this video, please make sure to hit that like and subscribe button. I post new videos every single Tuesday, and I hope to see you all next week for another Sims 4 video. Bye!